As you're aware, Australia's long been known as a nation of sports lovers. In fact, many would consider our obsession with sports, such as the cricket, to be very much a part of our national identity. In fact, this year alone, some 7 million Australians will attend a sporting event to watch an increasingly diverse range of sports. However, today I want to talk to you about some of the challenges that Australian sporting organisations are having in maintaining crowd numbers, and how organisations such as the Sydney Cricket and Sporting Grounds Trust are playing a role in helping with these issues. Of course, Panasonic will also walk through some of the technologies being deployed at the SCG and elsewhere, as well as an exciting announcement for the Sydney Football Stadium. So, it is a venue, the SCG, that is a very special place in the hearts of many sports fans, both here and around the world. It is also a very good case study for the real issue that we want to talk about today. How do existing sports venues, particularly those that have been around for a while, continue to excite and interest sporting crowds? The SCG has been doing this longer than most. The area around us has been used to host sports since the 1800s, and since then has undergone significant upgrades and changes to ensure it remains one of the country's premier venues. For example, behind you is the ladies' stand, a huge infrastructure investment when it was created in 1852, and that was more than met the test of time. More recently, the SCG opened the Victor Trumper stand, which had an additional 8,700 seats and took the ground capacity to 47,000. Other improvements have been rolled out during the years: better lighting, member facilities, and the increased adoption of technology. The reason for this continued investment is that venues such as the SCG are extremely important, not only to cricket lovers but to the entire community around it. It is calculated that some 17,000 overseas and interstate visitors come to the SCG for the cricket alone, which helps create $88 million in economic benefit for New South Wales. I'm sure you'll agree that's a contribution that is essential to keep spectators coming through the turnstiles. Looking at the attendance figures for Australian sporting events during the past year, it seems that most venues are doing a pretty good job. Australian men and women attending at least one sporting event per annum has been relatively static during the past 5-year period. You can see on the chart behind me. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics report released a few weeks ago, roughly 1 out of 2 Australian males still go to at least one game or match each year, while there is no difference in the amount of women attending between now and 5 years ago. However, one demographic that really deserves some attention is that of Gen Y. Gen Y, for purposes of today's presentation, is young adults between 18 and 24. Again, you can see behind me the percentage of Gen Ys that attend at least one game has dropped from 57% to 51% in the last 5 years. Now, coming from an organisation that spends a lot of its time, money and energy trying to win over Gen Y, I can tell you this is a pretty concerning statistic. To put it more starkly, let's consider what a 6-point percentage drop actually means. Well, first it means 970,000 young Australian adults will not attend a single sporting event during 2011. That's right, almost 1 million will not go to a single sporting event. Looking at the trending over the past 5 years, we're seeing the number of Gen Y spectators fall away at a rate of over 23,000 a year. That's a little over 1% attrition. Not only a few of them attending, we also know that it could be extremely expensive wooing them or potentially new spectators back into the stand. According to studies undertaken by international experts, we know the cost of replacing a spectator can be as much as 6 times as retaining that of an existing spectator. Importantly, we also know that most people's sporting attendance habits are set by the time you're about 24. If you attend a football match as a young adult, you're more likely to continue that behaviour into adulthood, and extremely importantly, take your own children to that. So what exactly draws spectators to events that have been a little contentious in the past? Is it offering cheap tickets? Scheduling of games at different times? There have certainly been many theories, but coming up with a definitive answer has always been tough but incredibly important. It's been known for some time that attendances can fluctuate by up to 20% depending on how well a code or venue can motivate a spectator group. 2 years ago, some talented Australian psychologists sought to answer this very question. Having reviewed an extensive range of previous studies, the researchers found that motivations that most drove attendance were a combination of hedonistic and objective drivers. Importantly though, they found the drivers could be grouped in 5 main areas: socialisation, being with others; performance, the grace or skill attached to the performance; esteem, literally the likelihood of your team winning; excitement, the sense of theatre and drama; and diversion, which looks at the areas of escape and fantasy. They surveyed almost 3,000 people using this categorisation, including a strong representation of young adults. What they found was pretty astounding. Excitement or the need for theatre and drama trumped every other motivator, including the likelihood of your team winning or even the sense of belonging you get from supporting your team. Interestingly, this finding was consistent both for those who attended a game in the past year and those who had not attended a game in the past year. So here lies the opportunity for Australian sporting organisations. Increase the drama and you increase or at the very least maintain your audience. Fortunately, Panasonic knows more than a little about dramas, as we've been seeing them broadcasting to our TV sets for more than 50 years. Fortunately, organisations such as Sydney Cricket and Sporting Grounds Trust are well aware of these challenges and, continuing a tradition that goes back more than 2 centuries, the importance of creating a truly modern atmosphere here at the SCG. A few weeks ago, Panasonic was pleased to see the installation of one of the world's most advanced LED stadium displays, which, as you've seen over at the Daily Messenger stand. Even from this proximity, it can be difficult to appreciate just how big this display is. It's 3 stories high, 157 square metres. We worked closely with the Trust to ensure it was installed and up and ready in time for the test match between England and Australia. It has been used only a few times until today, but has already been seen by thousands of people who have visited the ground for international and state cricket matches. The reason it looks so good, even from this distance, is because it's a truly modern LED that delivers high-definition images. This is really important. Over the past few years, people have enjoyed unprecedented picture quality in the home and are now expecting to have a similar kind of entertainment experience in more public settings. Peter Brickman, the head of stadium content production for the New York Jets and the New York Giants, compared the need to develop quality of experience in stadiums to that in the home as an arms race. Essentially, every time the entertainment experience in the home improves, that in the stadium must quickly follow. His boss, the NFL Commission, went one step further, demanding that stadium broadcasts were on a par or better than television broadcasts. Fortunately, the solution deployed by the SCG today is more than capable of meeting such technical challenges. Giving spectators a high-quality visual experience has a couple of other challenges that can be solely met with resolution or screen size. Traditionally, the 2 biggest issues were inability to see video or graphics on the screen because of glare, or alternatively you were seated at an acute angle to the screen. These are big considerations that fortunately Panasonic and the Trust were able to overcome. The new LED technologies mean that the screen of the SCG is very easy to see, even in the harshest of conditions like today. This is a significant advantage on the older style LED, where colours would wash, especially on particularly sunny days. Additionally, the Panasonic LED display can be seen on some really acute angles. It's a little difficult to tell from where we're standing, given that we're almost right in front, but you can see from the image on the screen taken at other recent cricket match as to how good the angles are. The Trust has also installed two other small displays in the Bradman and Churchill stands that allow others in the ground to receive news, ticker type information without having to refer to the main display. Because of the size and installation requirements, this isn't a product that you can just walk into Harvey Norman and pick up on the weekend. The display was custom made for the SCG by our global manufacturing team. During the past 6 to 8 months there has been a lot of development and consultative work undertaken by our engineers to ensure the display was exactly right. Once initial manufacture was completed, the display was separated into a number of pieces and shipped to Australia for final assembly. In this case, final assembly includes everything from putting the display back together, weather treating to ensuring long-lasting use, and a range of other tasks that can only be done here on the ground. For those involved in the display industry, this kind of local presence is considered an important distinction between Panasonic and many of our competitors. I certainly hope it came into the Trust's mind when going through the decision-making process. One of the questions most often asked when we launch stadium displays is how much they cost. I won't embarrass Jamie by talking about the specifics for the SCG. What I can tell you is that the cost of the stadium display can run from tens of thousands to the extreme end of the scale, where particularly in the US, they can spend tens of millions of dollars. Regardless of the implementation, however, the ROI calculation is always the same. The cost of display is looked at over a period of its lifespan of around 10 years and offset against its returns and operating costs. New LED technology is miles ahead of previous solutions when it comes to operational costs. The new LEDs are quite energy efficient and very, very durable. Installation costs are also lowered because of the ease in which they can be shipped and assembled. In terms of returns, we estimate that a major stadium could see advertising revenues of up to $115,000 per day for a particularly big sporting event. This essentially can offset the annual cost of the board very, very quickly and then become an avenue for additional revenue for the stadium. A couple of examples of additional revenue opportunities are the use of control management software and smartphone interactivity. Live Twitter feeds, Facebook updates and other social media initiatives can be integrated into the stadium content. For example, today we could run a poll on how the crowd thinks a particular player is doing, although if it's Michael Clark we won't need to run a poll probably, and show the results in real time on the display. Additionally, promotions could be run on the screen throughout the day, encouraging spectators to take up a Facebook campaign, again with the competition winner and results being shown in real time. Combine this with split screen capabilities, news tickers and a range of other options, and it creates some very interesting opportunities for marketers looking to connect with the audience today of thousands of cricket fans. Just thought I'd touch on what the future directions are for stadium signage. I want to quickly finish up by saying where this technology could go and how this is going to help retain crowds, particularly those young adults in stadiums across Australia. From a technology perspective, large-scale LEDs have come on an enormous way. They've gone from what now looks like a temporary road sign all the way to something that comes right out of the Blade Runner or Tron movies. As technology continues to improve, so does the imagination of stadiums begins to widen. I want to show you some stadiums from other parts of the world that are doing some truly amazing things. They say everything is bigger in Texas, and I'd like to start with what is currently the largest LED stadium installed in the world. The Dallas Cowboys spent close to $40 million to install it in 2009 as part of a $1 billion refurbishment of their stadium. I'm not sure if the images on the screen truly do justice, but it's pretty awe-inspiring. Sorry, I've got the wrong picture. It's 4 screens and above the stadium. Made up of 4 separate displays that are suspended from the stadium roof in the middle of the ground, the total viewing area is just over 1,200 square metres and weighs 544 tonnes. That's about 500,000 kilos of screens hanging above the heads of the players in the middle of the stadium as they compete on the field below. The former title holder of the world's largest LED screen was that installed by the Kansas Royals in 2008. Side to side, it's noteworthy because of its innovative construction and the content it delivers on game day. The display was assembled in 55 separate segments, including an active bottom taper to resemble the shield in the Royals logo. The video scoreboard alone cost $8.3 million, and the control room that operates it is staffed with 17 people on game days. You can see just how rich the content is if you get a close-up of the screen. This is Panasonic's own contribution to really, really big LED. The Charlotte Motor Speedway, the spiritual home of NASCAR racing. When installation is finished, it will easily be the largest display ever seen, anywhere in the world. It has a screen size of almost 1.5 square kilometres. I've no idea if it was the first television able to be seen in space, but it must come close. However, to give you an idea of how big that actually is, that's right, when it's finished it'll be large enough to broadcast the White House in its actual scale. In fact, it would even have a little room to spare. It's an incredible feat of electronic engineering, and it will actually be launched in May. On a smaller scale, but no less innovative, is a project that we're doing with Sydney Football Stadium that I'm happy to announce today. Panasonic will install its first semi-permanent LED stadium screen at the Sydney Football Stadium in March. The screen will be located above the Sydney Football Stadium forecourt and will allow incoming crowds to enjoy the on-field action from outside the stadium. The screen will be 44 square metres, standing just over 5 metres high and nearly 9 metres wide. The screen, though, is designed to be dismantled and moved to the adjacent Sydney Cricket Ground for both sporting and concert events. The flexibility of this solution allows the Trust to take big screen viewing to the crowds, regardless of which ground they're at, without having to simply have it tethered to the back of a truck. I'm sure this will significantly enhance the game day experience for fans. And if you're a rugby fan, on days when the Waratahs are playing, their game kicks off at 7:30. those that are coming earliest in that game will be able to see the New Zealand game, which is on at 5:30, broadcast live, whilst they're waiting to go and see the Waratahs going live. So as you can see, it's an exciting time for Panasonic and sports and entertainment venues worldwide. And close to homes, we continually work towards providing an exciting and unique entertainment experience with high quality image technology and flexibility to make sure Australian lovers of all ages are enticed back time and time again through the stadium turnstiles. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce you once again to Jamie, CEO of the Sydney Cricket and Sporting Grounds Trust.
We never thought that we were in the business of securing a brand like Panasonic to the Sydney Cricket Ground and Sydney Football Stadium. There's an amazing history to video boards here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, where we believe we were the first Australian venue in 1983 to install our very first video board here on the hill. And today, this video board that sits proudly above the messenger stand, Panasonic board, is our 7th video board that we've put in, which acts as a scoreboard. So when you go back over our 150 odd years of providing sporting events here to the people of New South Wales, the old Victor Trumper scoreboards, Ned Gregory scoreboards that have been opened here over the past couple of centuries, it's significant now that we've got this video board on top of the Darwin messenger stand. Now it is in its temporary location. We have a need to make it much larger. We think that our master plan, which I'm happy to detail a little more to you now, but the Victor Trumper stand will be in time continued all the way around, replacing the O'Reilly, the Messenger, the Bradman and the Noble stand. Now when that stand and that profile is continued, it'll provide us with an opportunity to put the video board in its permanent location, which will be under the roof. So it'll be under the roof, and we want it to be somewhere around 200 square metres when it's in its completed format. Now the reason for that is that Mark touched on it, and it was outstanding that you've got someone who understands our business as well as we do. And the match day experience for spectators is very important to us. And so when people come to an event here at the cricket ground or the football stadium, that experience begins when they leave home and they come here and enjoy the match and then go home. And quite clearly now, to continue to attract attendances that are going to climb or be maintained at the very least, we need to be doing a hell of a lot more in servicing those people at the game. And so hopefully today you'll experience a bit of an uplift in how cricket manages their day at the cricket. So what you hear and feel today is all managed by Cricket Australia. So it's their announcer, it's their control of the video board, it's their graphics that they decide to put on the video board. We urge them to try and amend things, change things, just to experience what I think is the world's best experience is either baseball in America or basketball. They are two sports that clearly know how to entertain their fans, and they package it up well, and they use the video board to do that and communicate through. We also got terrific feedback about the new video board. A couple of things that are important about that is the viewing from the side angle works very well, and of course the brightness in the Australian summer sun has really shown the significant leap forward that we've enjoyed with this video board over the previous one. So that's been significant for us, and I think ultimately we do need to make it larger, and that's part of the reason why we're also now looking at this announcement today with the new video board at the Sydney Football Stadium. It's a fan zone. People want to go to an event, they can actually on arrival see themselves on the video board, dressed in their team colours, getting excited about the day. And we can run competitions through this video board, we can acknowledge supporters and sponsors and partners of the day, and of course with a video board it's not a static sign. And so the days of having static signs is fast being reduced, because we have 100 events a year at our venues and they all have different sponsors, and it's quite easy now to change the software in a video board and acknowledge those sponsors and partners. We're very keen about our master plan, but when we can put it under the roof and increase the capacity here slightly, we probably need another video board just as large in the Sydney Cricket Ground in time as well. And so it's not just about seating capacity anymore, it's very much about quality of experience. And so to have one of the best video boards in the country now is important to us. Augmented reality is something that we're now looking into, and we're working with a group of guys who have got some patent on this augmented reality technology. We've presented it to our board. It's exciting what they can do with they can pluck you out of this video picture right now that's moving live, and they just pull you out, and you're watching yourself on the video board, and all of a sudden you've been plucked out live.
Is that driven by you or driven by the tenant?
Well, at the moment we're driving this technology because our interest is improving the match day experience.
Right.
So we've very much got to work with cricket and football and league and union and soccer to try and lift the match day experience. We're all firmly aligned now in what we want to achieve, because we all want to have better attendances, there's no doubt about that. But the augmented reality is something that really interests us, particularly sponsors. I've seen some fantastic promotions on it. It's very new because it hasn't really been used and launched here in Australia. The Sydney Opera House did something with it, I think. What is you show your mobile at a logo, so Panasonic being the logo, you show your mobile at it. Out of your mobile jumps this augmented picture, and you can play these video games live against your mate next to you or someone. It's wild stuff. So we are now contemplating putting it on the back of each seat. So every time Michael Clark scores a 4, you show your mobile to the back of the seat where the logo is, and out will come a graphic Michael Clark, replay of the shot possibly. All his match statistics will come up because you want them to come up. They won't be forced on you. So you'll start to control the picture. You'll start to control the video board. Ultimately, that's when it's really working, and I think that could be within 5 years.